Alright guys, as many of you I'm sure are well aware, this whole controversy over Stellar Blade and Sony censoring Eve's outfits, and a lot of the games journalists out there criticizing gamers and calling them a bunch of degenerates for wanting the game to not be censored to cater to, Western modern sensibilities. This conversation is going to continue on and on. I don't think it's going anywhere. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like any progress is being made with Shift Up and Sony to actually revert the game, the way it was prior to the day one patch. Nevertheless, there have been tons of articles criticizing the game, the people playing it, the fans of the game, the fans of the style of the game. Articles like this from Kotaku saying that Stellar Blade's Eve is hottest when she's not revealing everything. Ironically written by Levi Winslow, who is now unemployed, at least to my knowledge. He was working at Kotaku and now he's not. Much like several other people were, and unfortunately for them, it's just the beginning of the end for websites like this. But again, these people have been praising Hades 2. Saying what a wonderful game it is, how it does sexy right, how it's the right kind of hot. You remember Alyssa Mercante wrote that article for Kotaku, talking about it's the kind of hot we need right now. And again, none of these people can actually specify what is good about Hades 2 and what is wrong about Stellar Blade, other than boiling it down to, again, the male gaze. Stellar Blade appeals to a straight male audience, Hades 2 does not. Ironically, I played Hades, the first game. I never got any sort of weird sexual vibes from the characters, the gods, the little pop-ups that had the little text blocks and stuff, the characters you can interact with. I know that there were romance options in the game. I didn't get any weird pseudo-sexual creepy vibes from the game. I don't understand what these people are seeing in these games. Maybe I just, because I'm not the target demographic, apparently, of the game, didn't pick up on it. But these people are like unabashedly horny for Hades 2. It is unreal the level of mental illness we're seeing on display at this point. So you have articles like this from The Gamer talking about Hades 2's hot spring scenes are a bold subversion of fan service. Supergiant goes even harder at romance and relationships in its sequel, and that includes bathing with your besties. And again, this is from Jade King over at The Gamer, one of the worst places. Go use the archives or have ad blockers when you go to these people's websites. Please, please, please don't give them your ad revenue. And so, of course, it goes on this talking about how the hot springs aren't just about romance, but it's all about how you can connect with these characters and how wonderful it is, how diverse they are. And of course, articles like this from Kotaku with portraits of the characters, and it says 18 Hades 2 character portraits that are hot as hell. Now look, you can go through the slideshow and you can look at these characters, and the only thing I'm noticing is none of them look like Greek gods and goddesses other than when they get to Zeus. Ironically, once you get to, I believe it's supposed to be Zeus's wife, if I'm not mistaken. This one here, not Artemis, but Hestia. Hestia is looking a little sus, if you ask me, okay? I don't quite know what to make of this character. Nevertheless, a lot of people had say, what's with all the Greek gods looking like East Asian and African people? What is the deal with this? We've seen a lot of stuff, like if you find these Steam communities talking about Hades 2, this person started a topic saying, woke game. I mean, seriously, they literally race swapped 90% of the Greek gods to be African or East Asian, and most of them look so ugly. Now, there are a few people who agree with him in here, but unfortunately, you have these big brain people like here, Rosie Posey. I'm going to guess this is somebody living, I'm not even going to say it, but we're just going to move on. He or she says, a lot of people from the Mediterranean look very African. Okay, Italians and Spanish out there, apparently you guys now look African. Just telling you. I got to go back and find my Sicilian ancestors on my mom's side and tell them that apparently they're exactly the same thing as being African. During the slave trade, many Greeks, Spaniards, Italians, and other Mediterranean natives were mistaken for slaves by white Europeans and enslaved by them. This might be the funniest thing I've ever read online, given the fact that this person believes that a white person, first off, white people didn't round up the slaves. That was Africans that sold the other Africans to slavers. Secondly, white Europeans would not look at Italians and say, "Oh yeah, that guy over there, that I'm not even going to use that term. He's totally the same thing as an African. Put him in chains too. Like, give me a break, dude." So they go on to say, I think it's actually authentic to not have white cast Greek characters, especially the gods and goddesses, as they were the peak of beauty, strength, and wisdom. What does that mean? Don't have white Greek characters because they were the peak of beauty, strength, and wisdom. What the hell does that mean? So you can't be beautiful, strong, or wise if you're white? Like, holy crap. And then they end their statement saying, if you're racist, just say so. Don't go saying their art is ugly just because it's not up to your Western standard. Okay, these are the kind of people that are simping for this game, all right? Video Gamer here saying the Hades 2 critics are already crying that it's woke and diverse. This article's fantastic. I put critics in quotes because the people complaining about Hades 2 likely haven't actually played the game yet. Instead, they've seen its diverse cast that heals the shortcomings of the original, the queer community championing the game's representation, and Supergiant Games' devil-may-care attitude to hot characters that aren't overtly sexualized. Now, I'm not even going to finish the rest of this article because it's just stupid. He goes on and he talks about V, who's a Romanian man, and corrects his grammar here. It says, note, I have corrected committed to what I presume the original poster attempted to spell. Yeah, V is Romanian. English is not his first language. This is just a guy being a dick who knows nothing about the person he's quoting. And talking about this Hestia character, right? So V ironically points out in this tweet here, the cuck chair, the rare skin diseases, Netflixation of Greek gods and manly jawlines, androgenization of female characters, game journals cheering, and more is why I know very hyper-woke people have worked on this game. I do not care if the gameplay is good, I just don't want more wokeness in my entertainment, so I will not support this game. It's not rocket science. I know this is a very difficult pill to swallow for many pronoun pushers on Twitter, but you can always try to buy 2 copies of the game to make up for the lost sale that comes from my end. And he's talking about how they put Hephaestus, made him fat, put him in a wheelchair. Again, maybe he's white, maybe he's not. It's very hard to tell. This meme here, goddess Hestia according to the Greeks, goddess Hestia according to America, and goddess Hestia according to Japan. Ironic that the Japanese version looks much more appealing than the American version. And of course, you have this right here. This article we already looked at about the hot spring scenes are a bold subversion of fan service. Whatever the hell that means, all right? So Grums here points out that this person, Lasker, on Twitter, actually took the portrait of, what's her name? Aphrodite. And of course, Aphrodite has been this one that they've all alluded to being the right kind of sexual because she's naked except for like her hair. But then, of course, they gave her a man's face, right? So if you look at the original version versus this one, they softened the features, kind of did a little more with like the lipstick and the eyes to make her look more feminine. And I think this is actually kind of knocks it out of the park. This looks feminine. This looks like a man trying to look feminine. It's pretty obvious. He goes on to say, gee, I wonder if you can actually predict who will be thirsty over Hades 2 and I hate Stellar Blade. And it's the same kind of thing you'll expect. The pronouns, the rainbow flags, the watermelon in the bio. Now, the watermelon thing is weird. We're going to get into that in a second. Apparently, it's the new Palestinian flag, or so I've been told. Something to do with being pro-Palestine in this whole situation in the Middle East right now. But Packer Girl points out that this person, Alice Priestley, who's a sensitivity reader, and of course they're not a native English speaker, so they had to translate this, says, did these guys read the dialogues from the first game, or did they just keep hitting everything they saw in front of them? Hades has been queer as F since the first game. I played the first game quite a bit. I got close to beating it, put in probably a dozen hours, talked to all the side characters. I really enjoyed the first game, despite its shortcomings. And yet I didn't get this whole super queer LGBT Alphabet Mafia vibe. Apparently, I wasn't paying attention. So she interpreted more and says, when people ask me for help privately with a sensitive topic in their works, but this is still a paid job and I'm not available to help everyone for free. If you can't hire sensitive reading, that there's still cultural consultancy, which is cheaper and serves to resolve these specific doubts. So again, this is the kind of people that you have working at like Sweet Baby Inc., Gamer X, Black Girl Gamers. These are those people that want to take your IP, your story, and make it culturally sensitive and relevant and modernized and very much the whole woke crap. So a little bit about Alice Priestley. Again, we mentioned that whole watermelon in the bio thing. Alice Priestley, who is a she-they researcher, activist, and travesti. Now, I'm not sure what travesti means right here, but we'll get into that in a second, okay? D20 Awards winner, working as a writer, editor, proofreader, and sensitivity reader, okay? You go to she, I'm not going to say her because I just don't know on this one, to she-they's website, and you get here. Alice Priestley, who am I? You translate it to English, and this is what it says. Hello, my name is Alice Priestley. I am a writer, editor, reviewer, translator, sensitivity reader, and cultural consultant who loves collaborating in the construction of fictional universes and helping writers articulate complex and not so complex information to their readers, always with great sensitivity. Why hire me? Well, I have more than 4 years of experience in the publishing. Well, some of this isn't translated properly, but it says in the publishing market. My credentials include master's student in social anthropology, certification in creative writing and sensitive reading, worked for renowned companies such as HarperCollins, Renegade Game Studios, and Jumbo Editora. Now, the funny thing is, editorial, my experience in the publishing market includes advertising, academic, literary, gaming text, including tabletop RPG and game design. Interesting. Tabletop RPG, we just talked about that in the last video. And film and theater scripts. I know how each stage of text production works, and I am able to work with style guides and experts in the field to write, edit, review, and translate short and long text for a variety of target audiences. Consultancy. As a non-binary, bisexual, asexual, autistic, transvestite from the countryside and versed in social studies, I understand the importance of building sensitive and responsible representations. Because of this, I maintain a large academic repertoire of varied topics, being available for sensitive and creative consultancy for text and audiovisual works. Speeches. As a human rights activist, I worked in companies and universities giving lectures and courses. I bet that they can give lectures related to social themes such as inclusion, transgenderism, the LGBTQI+ movement, and diversity. As a researcher, I have taught writing, creative writing, and world building courses. I am available to speak at your institution too. I bet you are. I bet you get paid really well for that. Now, this thing here where it says worked at Renegade Game Studios, in case you're not curious why that sounds familiar, Renegade Game Studios is a publisher of dozens of games that you've probably heard of. If you go to Wikipedia and look at their list, games published, you have this gigantic list here, okay? Axis and Allies, G.I. Joe, Heroescape, Kids on Bikes, Diplomacy, Ex Libris. You've got over here Robo Rally, a whole bunch of names, Power Rangers games, okay? Just a massive list of games that they have worked on and published. And these are the kind of people that they have hired, okay? So this is really interesting. If you have games on this list, if you want to continue this DEI, Sweet Baby Inc. type boycott, the DEI detected stuff like Brutus has going, these are the studios, these are the publishers that you need to be watching out for. This Renegade Game Studio, if these are the kind of people that they are hiring, this is frightening, okay? I mean, honest to God, I get it. Hades 2 appeals to the LGBT, I guess, whatever that means. But these people are completely unhinged. It's like we don't even live on the same universe. I can't even say same planet. This is like, we're not even in the same species at this point. This is like two completely different dimensions of people that we're coexisting on this planet with. So I'm going to wrap it up right there. Let me know what you think about this, and I will catch you guys later. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.